Sure, yeah, keep it quick. Sure, Donnie, a pleasure. Sure.
I'm doing this show. You're real
A pleasure. We keep meeting again and again. You've been our minister of music, and how ironic that you were initially thinking about ministry, and in the end, you've actually accomplished it on a greater scale than you could have imagined. Talk to us about what that means and how it speaks to your heart.
Wow. Well, you're speaking to my heart right now because you're speaking the words of my mom.
Yes.
And my mom used to always tell me, so obviously, you know, that was my first ambition, was to be a Baptist minister. And my mom would always say, baby, you still gonna be a Baptist minister. She said, you trying to run away from something you can't get away from. But then she would also say what you just said, that you already are a minister and you get to minister from a pulpit that's much bigger than the one that the church would have given you. And so, you know, I'm honored to praise his name and, you know, and to spread his joy and the love, you know. So, you know, it's an honor. It's been an honor to do that for all these years. And, you know, for me, it wasn't, you know, I didn't do any preaching or anything, but it's just as simple as saying, God bless you at the end of the show, or, you know, just being a positive influence.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to, because I've been a mentee of yours secretly for maybe 30 plus years, to dissect those elements of Video Soul that make it so magical. One of them is your smile. Talk to us about how important that is, and yet still so rare.
Well, I wish smiles weren't so rare. They shouldn't be. We have a lot to smile for. Yeah. You know, I wake up smiling every day, man. I'm just happy to be here. You know, I really am. And the older I get, the simpler it gets. You know, just happy to wake up. And at the same time, knowing that the day I don't wake up is going to be the greatest of them all. Sure. So how can I lose? Sure. I can't lose.
Tell us about how empowering it was to take that ownership over Video Soul. It was so emblematic of the time. You brought so many artists to us that might not have otherwise been discovered, to sort of really take it to the next level with executive production and ownership.
Yeah. Well, it was, you know, it was an amazing experience to have an impact on so many artists. I remember coming out to LA once to see Babyface. Well, it was Babyface, New Edition. I can't remember the third act on the show. So anyway, before the show, I went backstage to say hello to Boys to Men. I walked in, they go, Donnie Simpson, what? Give him the date. Tell him the date, Mike. You know, man, they remembered the exact day they were on Video Soul. It meant that much to them. Yes, absolutely. You know, and that was just, I think that's just symbolic of the whole trip for me. You know, that it meant that much to artists to sit on that couch, you know, and I'm glad I was a part of it. What an honor.
Absolutely. Our show's called Music and Medicine, and when you hear those words, how do they speak to your heart and your ears?
Music and medicine. Music is medicine. There is no better medicine, you know, and anybody can take it. That's what I love. They don't have to ask you what other symptoms do you have, what other medications are you taking. If you got music, it fits all, you know. And, you know, I know music has been the medicine for my soul my whole life, man. It's the reason I do what I do. You know, it's that love of music, all music. Sure.
Absolutely.
And I love everything. I mean, if you, my phone is always on random. And it may take, I may go from Snoop Dogg to Vladimir Horowitz to Garth Brooks to Billie Eilish, just like that. It all makes sense to me. It's just music.
Absolutely.
You know?
I love that you always would take ownership and sort of set what you were going to do when you got there. You wouldn't listen to music beforehand, before you walked into the studio. Talk to us about how important that was for hearing it the first time. Because now we're seeing this with some of the young kids on Instagram. They're letting them hear music from 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. And how just revolutionary it was to hear music on air first time.
Well, you mean for my show? For the way Well, you know, I always did that I wouldn't listen to music purposely. If I listened to radio, it would be talk or something, because I didn't want to hear music until I sat down in that studio to do my show. And so when I sat down there and put headphones on and heard music, and that's the first time I heard music that day, I'm in heaven. It makes me that much more excited about doing the show. So that's the way I always did it. You know, yeah.
Thanks for coming into our homes and into our hearts and making all your guests feel so welcome.
Well, thank you, brother.
Your presence
Thank you so
simply
much. I
is true.
appreciate
It's
you,
true.
man.
Thanks so
God
much.
bless you.
Likewise.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Sure.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
One audition. And then one more thing.
I don't know if I'm in your frame even. It's so tight.